5 most difficult books you will ever encounter, including a book that makes up its own entire language, a book intended to keep professors busy for centuries, and a book whose endnotes have endnotes. And only one of these hits the 10 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. There's a good chance you've heard of these books before, but what you probably don't know is why they're so difficult to read. Take, for instance, Infinite Jest. Upon first glance, it looks pretty normal, albeit a bit long, but if you take a look at this character map, then you start to see why this is so unreadable. Then, if you flip to the back of the book, hundreds of pages of endnotes. 388 endnotes in 200 pages. Now, David Foster Wallace did this on purpose to disrupt the linearity of the text and your experience as a reader. He wanted you to feel distracted, flipping back and forth, as if we don't have enough trouble focusing as it is. And if you're looking for a resolution, well, there is none. Actually, Wallace disagrees. He says the answers all exist, but just beyond the last page. We'll give it a 6 out of 10 on the difficulty scale, but it's about to get a lot tougher, because this next book was supposed to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1974. However, the board decided they would rather give the prize to nobody before they let Gravity's Rainbow win. There was no official statement as to why, but the board did say the book was unreadable, overwritten, obscene, and turgid, which is just another word for tediously pompous. And I can understand why, because it follows several characters who are trying to uncover the secrets of an enemy rocket during World War II, and a large plot point is that one man's erections may predict missile strikes. But that's obviously an oversimplification, because this novel has over 400 characters, and it covers quantum mechanics and speculative metaphysics and many other narrative threads. Benjamin McAvoy says the difficulty is all front-loaded, so if you get past the first 100 pages and get your bearings on what's going on, it becomes a much more enjoyable experience. So, 7 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. 0 out of 10 on the do I want to read it scale. Okay, stream of consciousness is a writing style that puts you inside of someone's head and gives you all of their random, fragmented thoughts. And you can't ever get out to actually see what is really going on. And these thoughts are unexplained because of course you're not going to be explaining your thoughts to anyone, it is your own inner dialogue. Not only that, but you don't always think in complete sentences and there's no punctuation. Basically, it is extremely difficult to follow. And if you read Sound and the Fury, you will actually see the same story 4 times from 4 different points of view, largely in this stream of consciousness style. The only problem is the first point of view is from a 33-year-old man who has the mind of a small child. Perhaps he has Down syndrome or autism. They didn't really have those diagnoses back then, and the specifics aren't really that important. What is important is you are stuck in his head for 30 years of memories, jumbled up, without Faulkner telling you that time has shifted. Sometimes he uses italics to indicate time shifts, but not always. And sometimes he slips back out of italics when he's still amidst a time shift, leading to mass confusion for the reader. So, how do you end up telling the same story 4 times? You fail a lot. This is Faulkner's self-proclaimed most splendid failure. He wanted to tell a story of a little girl named Caddy, and each section is an attempt to do that, but in each one she eluded him. He says, "I never could tell it right. Though I tried hard and would like to try again, though I'd probably fail again." He took those 4 failures, he put them together, and suddenly it was a success.
A great success!
We'll give it an 8 out of 10. I gotta say, before doing this video, I had never considered picking up this novel, and I really had no idea what it was even about. But I now know that Ulysses is a novel that turns the 20-year journey of the Odyssey into a single day in Dublin. And it's full of puzzles, which I love puzzles, but these are not the casual kind of puzzles that you do at home with your family. No, these are literary puzzles for scholars. For example, there is a section on sirens that is set up like a musical score. So it has a prelude with jumbled up fragments that return later in the section. It has the jingle of Boylan's car interspersed and the tap of the piano tuner's cane, which creates an underlying rhythm. Joyce put so many puzzles in this book that he says it would keep professors busy for centuries arguing over what I meant, and that's the only way of ensuring one's immortality. But the difficulty doesn't stop there. Ulysses is also extremely symbolical. It uses so many references that it will make your head spin. Popular songs of the time, folklore, Shakespeare, Dante, Aristotle, operas, And this was 1920, so it's not like your Taylor Swift knowledge is going to go very far. Each section is a completely different style, and most of it is stream of consciousness. And if you can say one thing about Joyce, it's that he had a godlike vocabulary. We're talking 30,000 unique words. That is more than the number of unique words in all of Shakespeare's work. Not only that, but at the time, 337 of these words had never even been in print before. Bugger off, schlep, pornosophical. Not only does it have a ton of words, it also has different languages. James Joyce knew 17 languages. So there's Latin, French, entire paragraphs of Italian. Now there's a lot of reasons not to pick up this book, but there's one compelling reason to pick it up, and that is that James Joyce is actually very funny, if you can understand what the heck he is saying. That's an 8 out of 10 difficulty right there. When he finished Ulysses, Joyce was so exhausted that he didn't write for an entire year. And then he proceeded to work on this next book for 17 years, which made up for basically half of his entire literary career. And that book is Finnegans Wake. Finnegans Wake is what you get when you defy convention. Every literary convention, actually. Story, plot, setting, point of view, language. Joyce threw it all out the window. It's just when you do something like that, it makes your work completely unintelligible. Go figure. And this is not simply stream of consciousness, this is stream of consciousness on crack, because the character is dreaming. For Joyce, the dream world is separate from our world, therefore the characters not only have different names, but they have an entire different language. That's right, Joyce made up an entire language for this book, made up from blending words from 70 different languages. I'm afraid even a dictionary is not going to help you with this one. But maybe the craziest thing about this book is the thunderwords. There are 10 of these, and each one is 100 letters. Here's an example with Adam Harvey pronouncing it, because I cannot.
Lucet doeren donen dura scudi luciu fermoi porter turi zui svalna bortan sportau kansak roid verge kapakapuk.
I mean, it's clearly unintelligible. But it's not! Actually, it is just variations of shut the door in a bunch of different languages. I think this might be a little over my head, and most of the general public avoids this one. Surprisingly, even most of the critics don't like this. The introduction reads, "There is no agreement as to what Finnegans Wake is about, whether or not it is about anything, or even whether it is, in any ordinary sense of the word, readable." H.G. Wells, someone I consider pretty smart, he wrote 50 books. He was so upset he wrote Joyce a personal letter saying, "Who the hell is this Joyce who demands so many waking hours of the few thousands I have still to live?" Vladimir Nabokov called it a cold pudding of a book, a persistent snore in the next room. Even his own brother rebuked him for writing an incomprehensible night book. This book ends with the first half of the first sentence and begins with the last half of the last sentence, so it is the perfect loop, on repeat. Forever. The book that never ends. Like an inescapable fever dream. And that is a solid 10 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. If anyone has even attempted this, you have my utmost respect. Let me know when you finish it in 20 years.